Today, I just had one of those days that make you feel like, oh, this is exactly how I'm supposed to live every single day of my life. And this is what a regulated nervous system feels like. Because I've just had a splendid day. I didn't really vlog it because I just wanted the day to myself to do whatever the hell I wanted to. And it was so much fun, but it has set the tone for the week, and that is I want to have a creative, fun, relaxing, beautiful week. And that's the whole vlog. Are you guys ready to just be the most relaxed, creative, passionate, kind, loving? I just start listing off the fruits of the spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. That's what this video is going to give. If you watched my previous video, I did mention that I made a little list of things that I would like to do during my holiday because I always just have such big hopes and dreams and then I just never end up doing anything. So I have a few things that we are going to be doing this week and you're going to come along with me. Hey, this was the intro. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's going to be lovely. And I hope that this video will inspire you to just live your human life. Oh, this whole time I've been looking at myself in the viewfinder. I'm sorry. A relaxed day will have you glowing and looking just absolutely gorgeous. And I just don't know. I don't know what else to tell you. Do you know how people say that sometimes when you are trying to figure out what you want to do in your life or what things you actually like, you need to go back to what you enjoyed doing in your childhood? In that same vein, the other day was going through my old YouTube videos and using them for inspiration instead of going and like looking for my inspiration elsewhere. And there was a video that I made last year where I filmed the entire thing on this little camera. And I thought it was such a cute idea. It's literally like a half-an-hour video recorded on my Sony Cybershot. And then one day I just put the camera away and I never used it again. And so she's finally going to be making a comeback in this channel because I just think it's so cute and it's just a little bit easier to sometimes take around. Not easier, but my big camera is expensive and sometimes I don't always want to take it out. So hi Cybershot. There's something so sick and twisted about supporting a team that ends up losing because I'm not really into sports like football, soccer, that's the same thing, rugby. But last night we watched the Spain versus Portugal match, and if you guys didn't know, I'm half Portuguese, so I was obviously supporting Portugal. They lost. But it was still such a fun night. It was basically date night. Like Chelsea and I went out, we had a few drinks, we shared a pizza, we walked home, and it was fabulous. And today we also just spent the whole day together, just doing this and that, running a couple of errands. And I have finally gotten all of the bits and pieces for a new project that I want to start. I have had this hobby, this thing on my radar for literally months. I have been hyper fixated over it, and just because of exam season I wasn't able to do it. It's because it's like there's a lot of moving parts to it. There's a lot of stuff that I needed to buy. There's a lot of stuff that I needed to organize, but I finally feel like I have everything that I need. So it's also something that I had to do some preparation for. So last night after the soccer, I had to get home and do some preparation for my cyanotype printing. Cyanotypes are basically like printing that you do with the sun, and then you paint paper with chemicals that react to UV rays, and then you literally make sun prints. So last night I got home and I basically had to It took me about an hour to an hour and a half. I had to paint this cyanotype mixture on a whole bunch of watercolor papers. I literally felt like a scientist. It was so much fun. I'm still trying to get the hang of it. Like a lot of the pages turned out like a little bit uneven, but I was like, you know what, the point of this is not perfection. The point of this hobby is for me to have fun and express myself creatively. Yeah, I'll have a super bock. So yeah, last night I had to come home, do all the painting. By the time I got into bed, 𝖼🤧 was fast asleep. I also then had to hang the cyanotypes outside to dry, like on the clothesline. But all in all, even last night, the experience was so much fun. It's very like hands-on, you know, painting, hanging. Damn. Sorry. Crash, bang, boom. Cheers. Actually, during summer, I love to do this outside. Ooh! Let's see.
No, that's okay. Texture.
It does look cool. I can still do something with this.
You can make your own pictures.
Okay. And you know what I could do, baby?
What?
I could, once this dries, I could repaint the middle here and then like cyanotype print inside those. But remember what I said, the internet did say that it doesn't really work well with colored film. It should be black and white. Team, it is the next evening. I finished last night at about, well, okay, I say finished. Guys, I could have done that printing all evening. I was genuinely having so much fun. I'm obviously still getting used to the setup, and I definitely need to perfect the setup and the equipment that I'm going to be using. Sorry, Eva's like distracting me. Evie? I don't know, anyone with cats out there will know, like when I feel like she's restless, I really just cannot focus on anything else. But anyways, I genuinely could have printed for the rest of yesterday evening. The only reason why I stopped is because I was in the kitchen and 𝖼🤧 and we had to make dinner, so I did stop. But I think I was able to record a whole bunch of the process with the DJI, because that one has a really nice wide lens, and I was able to just magnetically stick it to like the bars of the window and then just show the whole process. So I don't know how I edited that or how much you guys saw, but I was having so much fun. I'm excited for the summertime, for when the UV is high enough outside for me to actually do it in the sun, because one thing that was very irritating is the UV lamp that I got was it's like a nail lamp, and I just kept having to press the 2-minute timer because it goes off automatically after 2 minutes, so that was a little bit tedious. But I thought I would show you guys the cyanotypes that I made yesterday, my first cyanotypes. I am so happy with how this process is going and how guys, it is scratching a creative itch that I've had for years. This is like, I'm just so happy. I feel like I have unlocked a little niche, and I'm just, well, not that it's niche, but like for me. So this was my first cyanotype. Yeah. Oh wait, I have 2 up here. Not great. It's not great. This is my first one. I did a tester sheet where, I don't know if you can tell on the top, but I put like 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes, 8 minutes, so up in increments of 2. And then the point of this is that you cover up a part of your print, and then each part of it gets a different amount of exposure, and then by the end you're able to say like, okay, for today this is my tester print, and I like how this certain amount of exposure, like time in the UV light, looks. But of course mine, just like, this is actually 14 minutes, but for some reason the like lower times turned out a bit brighter, but I understand why. I put it very high up in the box, so like I had the dark box over it with a hole in the box, and then I put like a towel underneath or like a blanket, so it was sitting very close to the hole on the box. And then the box hole was also very small, so these edges were just not getting any light. And so this was my first strip, but genuinely after this I was so excited, because I wasn't even sure if it was gonna work, because the cyanotype solution that I was using, nose itch. The solution that I was using just did not look the right color, so I was like, it's not even gonna work, but it worked. So this was my first one. And then the jump in improvement from the first print to the second print, insane. This was my second cyanotype print ever. Look at the detail on this leaf. So at this point I was still raising the frame inside the box. So how I was doing it was, this piece of paper goes underneath a piece of glass, and so that was still very raised. So as you can see, like, the edges are still not getting enough. But this was, I think this was a 20-minute one, and that middle section just turned out so incredibly gorgeous. These are a whole bunch of plants that I had. Some of them I collected new, some of them I've had drying for a while, but I was just, at this point I was like, okay. The whole time yesterday I was also taking notes, because a lot of people mentioned that what they do is they keep a cyanotype diary, which I'll come back to that point in a second. But I was taking notes of everything I did yesterday on just an exam pad. So these were all my notes, so that I know, okay, this is what I did, this is the paper that I used, so that next time I've got like a log of, okay, what worked, what didn't. And so as I was going yesterday, I was tweaking the process, like making little changes. And so this was my third print. Just like every single time I was just improving. So what I changed was, I obviously understood, okay, my UV light is not that big. And I also think the box that I was using, because it's a shoe box, was quite shallow. I think I need a taller box, just so that the UV light is able to just hit more, like, of a larger circumference. So what I did was I started cutting my A5 pieces of already, like, the paper was already covered in the cyanotype emulsion. I cut them in half just so that I didn't need as big of a circumference area. And then this one I did for 25 minutes, and I was just completely obsessed with this. Things started going, not downhill, I'm not going to use that word, because I just want to be clear that yesterday I was just having the most fun I've had in a very long time. I do think when I do this again, I will do it in my bedroom. I'll lay down a tablecloth, and then I have my art cutting board, just so that it's definitely a process where, like, I need to be comfortable and, like, sitting down, because in the kitchen I was getting kind of like uncomfortable and it was a little bit cold. And so the fourth one that I did, I decided to see if I could cyanotype some of my film negatives. So it didn't work. I did do my research even beforehand, and a lot of the stuff that I read said it doesn't really work well with colored film negatives, and it's better with black and white negatives, and mine weren't black and white negatives, so I kind of had a feeling that it wasn't going to work. But I already have an idea for what I can do with this, like, blank like film print. It just, I mean, but as you can see, like the colors are so incredible. And what I was doing was I did the cyanotype, left it, and then my first thing was I rinsed it off, and then I dipped all of these prints into a diluted mixture of hydrogen peroxide and water, and it really makes the blues pop. But here you can see, like, obviously the way that I was covering the paper in the emulsion I wasn't trying to be perfect when I was doing the covering, because honestly it doesn't bother me that much that it looks a little bit, you know, imperfect. I think with a project like this, you kind of have to embrace the fact that it's gonna be imperfect. But I was just the colors, the dark, like, so what the hydrogen peroxide does is it just like really darkens the blues. So I have an idea of what I can do with this. And then my last one for the day, I was trying, so all of the rest of this I did with flat, so obviously the film negatives are flat, all of my like natural plants material stuff is all flat, and then I put a piece of glass on top, just because the closer the contact is between whatever object you're trying to print and the paper, like the closer that contact is, the more crisp the lines are. So I don't know if you can tell, but the lines of these are like incredibly crisp because I had the glass on top. But for my fifth and final print of yesterday, I just took like a star ornament that I have. It's like a beaded star ornament, and it's got like a steel spiral in the middle. I took that and I just laid it on the paper with no glass, and you can definitely tell that it's very unfocused, but I think each time the coloring started to get better. But I did all of these for 24 to 25 minutes, like the last 3. So that was my first experience, guys. I'm in love. I'm in love with my little hobby. And what I want to do today is get back into, I think I already mentioned it in the beginning of this video, but I'm like really into doing creative hobbies with mixed media. And so I love to do these tape transfers. Let me just actually see if I can find. Yeah, okay, so this is like one of my little diaries that I have, and all of these are tape transfers from magazines. This one is from a book, and it is just one of those things where I just have so much fun with it, because it's like I'm really using my hands and getting creative. Another page, I think there really is a parallel between this kind of stuff that I was doing, like with the tape transfers and the cyanotypes. So what I want to do today is I want to decorate this diary that I have, that I've just had for so long. I had to rip out a few of the pages that were just like, this is just a diary that I use for some random stuff, but I want this to become my cyanotype diary. And I thought I want to decorate the front and the first page with some magazine tape transfers, and then this is going to be the diary that I keep all of my notes in, because obviously as I improve with the hobby, and also, did I say improve? I'm kind of losing my train of thought. As I improve, but also as the seasons change and I start doing my cyanotypes outside, I use different papers, I use different, you also can make the emulsion in different ways and put it on different things. I want to be able to keep track of all of those little experiments. So this is going to be my book. I'll be honest, halfway through I did start to do more of the watching the Monster High movies than doing the project, but I am happy with where I am for now. Just because I'm done for today doesn't mean I won't add anything else in the future, but I think it looks really, really sweet. I actually did a lot more just normal collaging than actual tape transfers, but it was really fun. Also, it's the first time I've done something like this in a while, and it takes time for the creative juices to start flowing again after like such a hectic university semester. And also I feel like I have used a lot of these magazines before, and I've cut out a lot of the good stuff, so it was kind of like a struggle to find anything that I was like really wanting to put in. But yeah, I'm happy with it. I think it looks really cute. And the next thing I'm gonna do, not tonight, it's already like, what's the time? It's 12 o'clock. Ooh, so I'm gonna stop there for tonight, but the next thing I'm gonna do is actually fill the diary with my experiment notes. But yeah, this is actually my diary for my internship. So as you can see, oh, this one's so cute. I really like this one, but I obviously have a little bit of a preference for how I like my stuff to look. I feel like you and I just keep meeting in this exact spot, which is at my desk for arts and crafts. And I feel like for the past, honestly, I don't even know what this video is going to turn out to be, because it's just been a lot of B-roll footage. Like this past weekend, I spent the entire weekend with my dad. It's currently Monday evening, and I was just doing B-roll. So that is why I just did not get any talky footage. But honestly, I kind of appreciate that I didn't do that, because me and my dad had a really beautiful weekend, like just us two, without me pulling out the camera and being like, what do you think, Dad? Tell me what you think, Dad. It was just like us having a very wholesome weekend. And we ended up doing a little craft. I don't know how much of this I recorded. Let me swing you guys around. We ended up doing this magnet board. That is something that's just been on my Pinterest board for so long. And I think it's a really nice in-between for me, because I wanted something that is like above my desk area where I can put memorabilia, photos, reminders for uni. But I hate cork boards. I hate like the strings with the pegs. And so this just felt really sweet to do. And my dad and I made this from scratch. We had to, or actually I told my dad what my idea was, and then even before I got to him this weekend, he had already bought most of the materials. So we had to buy the galvanized steel. My dad bought a angle grinder. It was a huge project that we basically did the entirety of Sunday was spent on doing this. And we also went to the flea market. You might have seen, I might have put this in some of the B-roll footage. I bought a whole bunch of match boxes and a couple of other goodies. And what I want to do now is DIY some magnets for the magnet board. I thought that was a really cute idea, and I do have a lot of like bits and pieces around my house, like little trinkets that I want to turn into magnets for the magnet board. But it just, I don't know if you can really tell, but the magnet board is just so sweet. Right now, I just have a photo of me in 𝖼, and then this drawing that Connor did of me for me, and then these two star magnets that Stacy got for me. And then I actually bought this little magnet frame from the market. And there's Eve just being a super grumpy girl. I think I want to start with the frickin' panda, because how cute is this little panda? I'm going to start with him. I do get nervous to work with super glue just because, yeah, but I've got my artboard here. So okay, so of course it just starts completely dripping out as fast as possible. No, it's dripping down the panda. Okay, so he did get some super glue on him. Oops. I'm gonna put him aside to dry, and we'll get into another one. I think I want to do my little spiral. This one can be one of the weak, small magnets because it's actually really, really light. With the matchboxes, what worked quite well is taking, so see these very small silver magnets, those are actually the incredibly strong ones. So what my dad and I found we could do was just take one magnet and like put it loose in the box, close it. Yeah, and they stick really well to the board. So I want to do the matching dogs. Maybe next the moon? I don't know. I guess we'll do one of the big weak ones. Yeah. I mean, they're not weak, but with these black ones, I couldn't put them into the match boxes and then use them like between all of the layers of cardboard. Can you please not come running out? Gosh. I don't like working with super glue. I really don't. Like, it's just so stressful. I should have maybe used like a sort of contact glue that's a bit thicker and a little bit less scary. Okay, see, because that's already completely stuck. Yeah, that's like fully, okay. That's completely stuck already. So pros and cons, because I guess I'm going to be able to use these magnets tonight. But wow, just zero wiggle room with that. I wanted to maybe do a couple of stones. I was going to say crystals, but I think half of these are not crystals. I think they're just rocks. Ooh, sliding. How does it go from sliding to just being completely stuck on? I don't know. We'll do this one. I'm not going to use all of the matchboxes right now, so just the ones that I really like. These are another 2. What are you doing?
Look at you, friggin' look at your space getting so nice and decorated.
Yes, are you frickin' jelly or what?
Frack.
What do you think?
I think fantastic idea, Gabrielle. I think this is a great idea, and I like how it's coming together, and I really like the matchboxes with the dogs. Those are my favorite matchboxes so far.
Thank you so much for your input, 𝖼𝥧.
Show them I'm getting destroyed right now. No, wait, I won.
So it's been a couple of days since I've recorded anything. I don't even remember what the last thing was. I think it might have been me making my magnets, and then 𝖼𝥧 got sick, and then sadly I got sick, and now I'm home alone for the weekend, and I've just been laying on this couch decaying. And I just know if I don't film a little outro for this video, it's going to be one of those videos that just ends up turning into nothing. So I thought for the end of this video I would just show you guys some. Also, sorry if I lose my breath, I'm sick and now I'm just having to like talk and breathe through my mouth at the same time, which is proving to be a little bit of a sport. But I thought what we could do is just look at some of my before and after of my cyanotypes over the past 2 weeks and how I've improved. One thing I will say, I genuinely feel so creatively fulfilled by this. I'm having so much fun, and that's exactly what I wanted, like for my holiday, was just to be able to do a few things that really just ignite. Also my toilet paper. I just wanted to do a couple of things that ignite to my creativity and my passion for life, and I feel like I have done that. So if you guys need a bit of a refresher, this was my first ever cyanotype. Yeah, she was struggling a little bit, and then through a little bit of trial and error, this was my second cyanotype. And then I just want to show you, I'm not going to go through every single one, but I just want to show you guys how this is my second cyanotype that I did, and then this one is one that I did this past week of the same begonia leaf that I have pressed. What a difference
just some trial and error and really just figuring out my equipment and the process. It's made such a difference. One of my first real fails was the day that I tried to do a cyanotype of some colored film negatives that I have, and this is what it ended up looking like. And then I was doing research, and you know what, Reddit doesn't usually lead me astray, but a whole bunch of people on Reddit were saying it could not be done. You could not do cyanotypes with colored negatives because the ink in the negatives, like something, people were going on and on Reddit, and this is one that I was able to do this week. Absolutely gorgeous. Obviously, with these tiny film negatives, you're not going to get the most crisp image ever, but I was so impressed by this. And then I also tried my hand this week at going and getting some of my own negatives printed on transparency paper and doing some prints with that. So these 4 pictures are the first 4 that I ever did with my own negatives. And these are the reference photos, or these are the photos that I used. My own photos taken by moi. And this has just unlocked like a whole new thing, because I didn't want to start out the process by immediately going out spending money on printing my own negatives and then it be a little bit of a flop. And yeah, this process was so much fun. Then yesterday, actually, while I was sick and laying on the couch, I did 3 more. I've actually now run out of all the paper that I painted in the initial cyanotype emulsion in the beginning of the video. I ran out of all of that paper, so I think either tonight or tomorrow night I'll have another little evening where I paint some of my papers. But these are the 3 pictures that I did yesterday. As you can see, this baby photo of xoxo I completely overexposed, and then I was like, okay, because I'm still like trying to figure it out. So I'm like, okay, so with these negatives I can't print them for the same length of time that I would like a botanical, like an actual real life leaf that actually requires a lot of exposure. So I'm learning a lot, and I had so much fun. But this video has to come to an end. I don't know why this video just was like so much of me just talking, which irritates me. It really does. But that's it from me, guys. I had a lovely little break. I go back to uni this coming Thursday. It's Sunday today. Oh, sorry, I just sniffed into the mic. But yeah, I'm going to be back at uni and hopefully making some casual videos of my last semester of my honors degree. But thank you guys so much for watching and spending this creative, it ended up being 2 weeks, creative 2 weeks with me. And thank you for making it to the end of the video. I love you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye!